You want to dig them before they turn brown. Ordinarily you dig about 4 weeks after the flower blooms out. And your foliage is still green. That way you are preventing, well not preventing, but you're reducing the possibility of virus and other diseases getting into the bulbs. Now, this particular one here has started turning brown within the last 2 days. This is called owl soup. It's one of the early bloomers. I don't know why it's deteriorating this rapidly. But these two right here need to be dug now. I'm not having to skip about and pick out the ones and get as near to the proper time of digging as I can. I've been concentrating over on the other side, but we'll start in on this one. First thing we do is cut the plastic so we can lift it right over the top of the foliage. Then we use the shovel and loosen the plastic all the way around. Hopefully we'll be able to lift the plastic over the top and I'll roll it up. Keep them going away. And then we're ready to start digging. And we'll use the shovel to come underneath each one. Try to lift it out. And there'll be a lot of little little peas under. Some of them will have just 1 or 2 and some will have a whole lot. When we get the one that has a good many on it, I'll stop and show you things. Nothing to do, we just dig. Dig and lift. Now as they dry, they become real brittle and will break loose. Sometimes you'll pull them loose and leave the bulb in the ground, and then you have to rub part with your hands, and that's why you try to get them dug while they're still green. That and to prevent the growth of bacteria. See the sizes of them. Now these I'm digging now have just about reached their maximum growth, so these are probably about 5 years old, the bulb themselves. After that they start flattening out, and that's why I keep propagation beds so I can keep new bulbs or from this smaller size growing into the larger ones all the time and have a new stock of bulbs. That way it keeps the disease out too, and I think it improves the quality of the flower. Now Eddie, if you'll hand me that other basket, we'll put about half in it. Of course the commercial growers don't do it this way. They have various tools and equipment to dig with. I imagine much like we would dig potatoes. Of course, they couldn't afford to do it this way. It'd be too labor intensive. We have hobbyists growing them. They have nothing but time. This is the ideal way to do it. You can see the weeds in them. I haven't kept it as clean as I should have. But this has been a bad year for me. 4 weeks late planting. Suffering from too much rain, too much heat. Always a complaint. That's a good sized bulb there. That seems to have gotten when I kind of halfway level this up. Don't make any effort to get it smooth, but I do get it kind of back where it's mounded up. I can tell where the row was. Makes it easier when I start to plant next time. Now to keep from mixing these up, I put the stake in with the glad. So there'll be no mix up. I know definitely that these two baskets are owl soup. And after I clean them and soak them, I'll put them in the box that's labeled owl soup. And the next year when I'm ready to plant, why, I should have true stock. And I find it easier on the larger bulbs to just drop them all over in the tub, and then I can pull them out one or two at a time and wash most of the dirt off as we go. Now, I use this metal tray that some boys in the shop built for me so I can save the baby bulbs if I need them for the stock. If I'm on this particular variety, I have all I need, but I still go through as if I were saving them all. Just wash most of the dirt off this way. Now then, we're ready to cut off all the foliage and snip roots and so forth. Now, I've topped this off. This was the bulb that I planted. And you see, it was nothing but the food supply. And that's all that's left out of it. This is the new bulb, and I showed you before how the new bulbs form on top and are attached to the fork rather than coming from within. Mm-hmm. So this is all that's left right there. That would be what was left of the food supply. And there you have a few of the little ones attached onto it. Now, I'm not saving these because I have a good supply of this stock. So I don't need the babies. I won't plant any in the propagation bed next year. Start cleaning them off. Just a matter of cutting as much of the roots off as you can, and then cut the top off as close to the top of the bulb as you can. Now a lot of will take out all of this and do the cleaning all at one time, but I prefer to dry them, and that way I don't damage the husk. I think the husk is over there for some purpose, and I prefer to leave it. Although it's work, it's still a lot of fun to see the new bulbs kind of judge what your stock is going to be, how you're doing with your sanitation practices and fertilization and all that. If you see any that are defective, you can roll them out right here. You don't have to worry about contaminating your stock. To dig, you clean and soak a batch like we're doing now will average right out an hour. Now on this particular one, Eddie, I did not DI the original bulb, and see you've got two coming from it. They're two smaller than the original bulb it's planted. You can increase your stock by letting them divide that way. It depends on how many you want and how many you have to start with. It's best if you want a large flower to DI the bulbs as you go. It's time consuming, so I don't always DI. It's best to. And if it's on a variety that I really want to get some pretty flowers off of, I do DI. I've got some favorites that I try to get as big and as pretty a bloom as possible. Now on that particular one, this little devil right here is a nut grass. And you don't ever want to save a bulblet or a small cornmeal off of a bulb when you've got nut grass growing near it. Because you can't tell the difference between the little nut and the little cornmeal. Mm-hmm. So you get rid of the whole thing. You don't take any chances with it. Of course, you work all season long on nut grass. Once you get it started, it's hard to control. In fact, I asked one of the men over Clemson how to completely get rid of nut grass. He said the only way he knew was to fence it off and put pigs in it.
And just let them eat it.
I hate it when I have to hopscotch about cleaning. I'd rather start at the head of the row and go all the way down that row digging. You get the same results, the same amount of effort, but it just seems better to start and stop in one place. I'll tell you about the lady that at the fitness center that came up and talking about her parents, our grandparents used to grow gladiolus.
I think he did.
She was from Wilmington.
Yeah, yeah.
So that reminded her of her childhood, seeing me coming in with glads. You meet a lot of people because of the flowers. They're a good conversation piece. I carried some Dr. Whitehead's office yesterday into the ladies in administration. This same man in administration, I don't know who he is, came up again and said, there he is, the best loved man in McLeod Hospital, bringing flowers to all the women. I said, yeah, I want him to remember me if I ever am a patient in the hospital. He said, that's a good idea. You put your label in the container with it, and then you're ready to go wash them. Now I wash them 3 times to get all the dirt off of them. Now Eddie, all I do is wash them real good 3 times. Try to agitate around. Take a move. Well, if you're bouncing like that, you know you're getting clean. Clean enough. Now then, we'll put them in soap. Soap longer, it won't hurt them. But you prefer to have them at least 30 minutes. This is solution already mixed up, so I'll just pour it in on it. You can continue to use the solution until it gets dirty, or you feel like it's diluted, and then it's best to make a new solution. I usually use one solution about 3 days and then make another batch of it. So that's ready now to soak for a half hour, and then we'll put them in trays and let them dry. This bunch over here is ready to snap off now. These ones that were dug time before last when you were down here. It's all out of the propagation bed, mostly small bulbs. And as I told you then, I use a bent spoon to complete the cleaning process. I got 3 different size spoons. And what we will do is take that spoon and snap this part right in here out. It's not quite ready. About 2 more days. When you finish, you want it to look like this. That's to be a bulb ready to be stored and ready to be planted in next year. You've done everything to it you can do. Now during the winter, I'll look at them about twice to be sure that there's no rotten bulbs or nothing unforeseen happening to the bulbs that are in here.